Welcome guys to another Destiny video. So today we're going to be going over what I want to see in Destiny 2, whether it be things I want to keep from the first game, or things I want to trash completely and I don't want to see in the second game, or things I want new or slash improved. So going down the lines of keeping, I want to keep factions because that's a great way for specific players to devote themselves into a certain aspect of the game. I know I've been full blown New Monarchy since day one, so it's just one of those things where you attach yourself to a faction and you grow and you get excited for armor, weapons, and whatnot, and all those things. It makes you excited for the game to have your faction and rep your thing. It's kind of like high school rep, when you're full blown into high school, you show your support for the teams, and it's all the kind of things. It's the same aspect. Iron Boner and Trials. That's a great thing to do. Trials should definitely be a weekend basis every single week, and then I feel like Iron Boner should be like maybe twice, maybe a bi-weekly subject instead of just having once a month. I feel like they should bring it in for maybe like 3 to 4 days, twice a month, just so, because I know not many people know Life Destiny like I do, but it's one of those things where you can bust it out in 3 days with no problems. Even with 3 characters, it doesn't take that long to do. Spare Racing, I feel like that should come back entirely and have that as a, because that's a great thing to jump into when you're bored of Destiny and you don't know what to do. That's something to relax into. It's just good to jump in there for a couple of games and just relax and detox from Destiny for a few. Another thing, custom matches. I feel like that should be implemented in a stronger scale. Now, I love jumping into a custom match with all my friends. That's a great aspect to have in Destiny. But I feel like they could take it a step further and add some like customization to the matches. Whether it be, well, there is a little bit of customization, but I'm talking about like making your characters overpowered or putting a light spike on a specific character. It's just one of those things where they should have a little bit more customization just to, for us to make our own games and game modes, like back when Halo was a big thing, like those custom matches you made, and you just had a lot of bit of more personal interaction with the things you're doing. So I feel like that's a great thing to keep. I don't feel like they're gonna toss that out in the future, but just in case, just voicing my opinions. Strikes, that's a given. It's a great way to get gear. It's at some time tedious. I feel like if they add a little bit more mechanics into the strikes themselves, it would be nice. Because right now there's really not it's basically just get in there, shoot, and there's not much mechanics to it. And even if there are mechanics, it's just super bare bones, nothing too serious, and you jump in and you already know what to do. Base enemies. What I mean by that is year 1 enemies. I feel like they should go back and bring those guys back. I feel like they shouldn't bring back anything after year 1, because the enemies that you get after year 1 are basically just reskins and remechanics. That's basically it. There's no new enemies. They're all basically the same thing. So I feel like they should go back and bring all the enemies that we had in year 1 and keep that for year 2, and maybe add some new enemies on their classes like Cabal, Thralls, and all that kind of shit. But I feel like they should keep what they had in year 1 and just add like a few new enemies to each race, and that should be fine. Bounties, I feel like they should keep that just how it is. Bring back exotic bounties, because that was a great thing to look forward to and work towards. Alright guys, so moving into what I want completely gone from the game entirely. Prison of Elders. That's a big thing to do, but I wasn't even excited for the first roundabout. It was one of those things where, okay, it's kind of like a mini game. It's like I didn't take it too seriously. It was very tedious when getting into there, especially when me expecting to have a new raid. Instead, I got Prison of Elders. I was very upset with Destiny on the fact that they did that. I didn't have fun with it. It just felt too long and too tedious to do. Another big one, Xur. Now, Xur has been here since year one. He's been here every weekend since year one. It's one of those things where that's Destiny. But I don't want him to be scrapped entirely. I just want his concept to be revamped and given something new, because it's the only thing I use Xur for now is 3 of coins, and that's it. That's all I use him for. So I feel like if they give him a little bit more exciting things to sell, that would be a little bit better. Not just year one engrams and occasionally exotics I don't have, but that's a rarity. Okay, the loot system. This has been broken since day one. It's one of those things where it's super unbalanced and it's just a pain in the ass to do. Makes it kind of hard to level when it's just RNG. I feel like they should really just scrap engrams entirely and come up with a new loot system. That's just my opinion. Reskins, armor, weapons, all that kind of jazz. If you guys are going to have this massive loot system, you got to have some different types of weapons and different things. You can't just reskin everything and call it good, because it's just being lazy. Seasonal transactions. I was really upset with Destiny when it came to holidays, because that was just another thing for them to make money with. I know in-game transaction is just going to be us getting free DLC through the year, but it's still one of those things where it's just, you got to have some aspects of seasonal gameplay and not just make it just based on the in-game transactions, because that was just bullshit. But I feel like if they had seasonal transactions, they should have some gameplay for those holidays and whatnot, because just having the transactions, that's just not okay. Glimmer cards, another big issue since day one. Not enough lore, and not many people are going to take the time to go through and look at the Glimmer cards to see what the lore is. It's another way of them being lazy, not having put effort into the storyline. It's one of those things where I like having like the achievement number of your Glimmer cards. That's a cool feature, but besides that, there's no use for them. Alright, moving into improve/new, I want faction bases. So if you play World of Warcraft a lot, you'll know that we have class halls in the new expansion, and so it's basically, so our 3 factions, I want to have like a specific area, social area we can go to and be with our faction. And we have a little bit of area for our factions right now, but that's still not enough. I feel like we should have specific areas on specific planets for per faction. I feel like that would be a great feature to have, and it's just one of those things where you can jump into that social area just to have your faction with you, and I feel like that would just make it a whole more in-depth into the factions. Maps. Maps, I mean, by even when I'm jumping into a planet, occasionally I get lost. Even since playing since day one, I still have issues finding my way around planets and whatnot. I feel like they should have it on the pop-up menu on your Ghost, or you can have it on a sub-menu in your inventory. It's one of those things where it should be there. I felt like that's what I thought was going to be in the beta. I felt like, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks there should be a map. In Destiny, I feel like they're going to implement this in the future, but they didn't. So I was really upset with that. Okay, going into raid mechanics. Now, my favorite raid of all time was Vault of Glass. Now, that was a phenomenal raid. It was a little bit lengthy, but that was a good length. It wasn't tedious. It was still fun. It had great mechanics. It was beautiful. Now, going into that, I feel like they should have a 3 to 4 boss bases and then split it off into 3 sections. So you would complete part A in the first 2 days of the week, part B in the next 3 days, and then the rest and the rest. I feel like it should be broken up into beginner, middle, and the end would be just the main boss. Now the main boss, that'll be enable us to have a longer boss battle than what we have right now, because I feel like if we're gonna fight up to that point, we should have the emphasis on that boss battle. Um, it's one of those things where once you get used to the mechanics of the boss battle, it's just super easy to fly through, and it needs to be more in depth for me. Raid challenges. Now, this was a cool feature they had, but it was one of those things where it was you got used to the mechanic and that was it. I feel like they should go into for raid challenges. I feel like they should have a little bit more in depth. So we'll have the main challenge and then we'll have bounties go with that challenge. Now, whether it be you have to complete all the bounties before you complete the challenge, that would be a nice implement, because it would just have a little bit more, I don't want to say challenge to it because it's raid challenges, but just make it a little bit more difficult, because like I said, once you get used to the mechanics, it's easy to fly through. Co-op challenges. Now I feel like there's been times where I've done the daily mission with my friends, but it's rarely that case. I feel like we should have weekly co-op challenges to have, just to get that little bit more of an aspect feeling to it. Now this could go into just with your friends, or this could go into your faction, and that could be another implement for factions. I really want to see factions grow if you haven't got that by now. So clans. Now clans haven't been really that in depth. Yes, you can see who you have online and blah blah blah, but that's basically, there's nothing else to it. I don't really know any clans that keep together and do things together. Well, besides my clan, but I have a fire team of 6, and that's what my clan is. That's all my clan is. I feel like they should have clan challenges and then a clan vault. Now the vault is going to be an issue. I feel like if they're going to have a clan vault, it should be, the loot base should be 2 item levels below what you already have equipped. So you can't get anything higher from the clan vault. I feel like they should nerf the gear that you get out of the clan vault based on your item level, so you can't just create a new character and then instantly get him up to 400 light or whatever. So I feel like that would be a good implement for Destiny 2. Now, I want to see more transactions in game. Not talking about like real money. I'm talking about Glimmer, because Glimmer is not used for that much. There's a reason there's a cap on it, because you really don't need anything besides that. But I feel like there should be more vendors and more uses for it, because it's just a mechanic that's unnecessary at the time, because you really don't use it for much. Lore, I already went over that, but going back into the reward systems, I want to see a player ability reward. So, meaning if you got on the top tier on the raid or whatnot, if you did the most work, I feel like you should be rewarded for that work. So I don't think we should get like something absolutely phenomenal, but I feel like we should get a little bit more if we did a lot more work than the other fire team members. I feel like that I'm not the only one on that, so yeah, I'm safe to say that. Planet size. The maps are super small. Yes, they have decent graphics into them. They have nice textures, but besides that, it's not that big. I mean, it takes us 15 minutes to get around Earth and other planets as well. It doesn't take that long to get from point A to point B. Arms Day, sorry. That was a great mechanic. It was a great idea, but I feel like it just died off super fast. I feel like they should have a little bit more creative weapons on Arms Day. I feel like you should have to collect certain items and implement them into a new type of weapon, just to have that little bit more of a customization to it. And I feel like Arms Day customizations should be a thing. So basically on Arms Day you can take your weapons from previous Arms Day and either re-roll them or create them into something else. Now, I don't want that to be super overpowered to the point where you can make an OP weapon and not have to do anything else, but I feel like there should be a little bit more customization to the weapons that you get. Exotic bounties, I really want to see that come back. That was a great thing from year one. It was, granted there was only like 3 exotic bounties, but it was still something to look forward to when doing your daily bounties, because that was a reward you were looking for. But anyways guys, those are my wants, needs, and wants to sees for Destiny 2. If you guys agree with me in any of the aspects I've said, please let me know down in the comments, and I would love to see this discussion going on. We are getting closer and closer to the drop date of Destiny 2, so we gotta get the hype train going. So anyways guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video.